if Rodgers was leaving the Packers,
Yep.
I was on Twitter because I knew somebody was going to have
Yep.
and then that morning before he went on, Pat McAfee made that announcement. Somebody said, be prepared to hear so-and-so because he's my boy.
Yeah.
Still. Yeah. I got a Jets jersey.
Ditto. Well, I don't have a Jets jersey.
Me and my buddy were like, we're staying committed. He wore it to the home opener here last year. I did not. But we stayed committed and we're like, because we like him. We like the guy.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think, he's my all-time favorite sports person.
Dude, we can swim upstream together because I am in the same boat.
That's awesome.
I'm in the same boat. And what boggles my mind is even if somebody is in the other camp with everybody else about being a Rodgers hater right now, what really grinds my gears is that people just automatically dismiss everything he did.
Yep.
Green Bay exists because of the Packers. There's no two ways about it. Like, don't get me wrong. I love it here. Green Bay is an unbelievable place. We're on the map because of the Packers. And he spent, 13 years? However many years he was here.
Yeah.
He devoted of his life to boosting the organization that boosts our community.
Mm-hmm.
Really successfully, by the way.
Yeah.
Some people, there's a really solid argument, at least eye test wise, that you can say he's the best of all time, and he's certainly one of
Absolutely.
the best of all time.
There's no doubt about that.
How can it's like just being a bitter ex and saying, "Oh, they're gonna leave. I hate everything about you."
Yep.
You don't though. I don't know. That bothers me. It bothers me, and
we could sit here all day and talk about this topic because I have been fighting this war for I don't know how since before he even left. When people had an issue with his attitude, I'm like, his attitude? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Like, oh, you're over at his house every day, knowing what's going on in his life. Yeah, feed me more. Yeah. Like, believe me, I've been battling this, and I it's so refreshing to know that there's someone,
at least one other person, because it seems like we are really in the minority.
We really are. You are. So okay, so all three of us in this room. Thank you. Yeah, man. I don't know. But back to a lot of the point of this conversation, he's authentic.
Yeah.
He says things that fall outside the lines. I don't care what side that really is. You believe what you believe because of everything that's happened to you in your life. And then you take all of the experiences and knowledge and you make a decision on something. I can't do the scripted dudes. Tom Brady's a great quarterback. Arguably, you could make a case for the GOAT. Mm-hmm. But he follows the path. He never really spoke out of turn in public. Sure, he had a lot to say in the front office when he was playing with the Patriots. I think they gave him a lot to say, but that's something that I think that happened to Aaron. I'll stay on this for another minute because I could go all day. I don't think they treated him the same here in Green Bay as they did Tom Brady. I think in New England, I think Tom was allowed to have his input on decisions. Hey, Tom, we're thinking about doing this. You're our star quarterback. We'd like to hear what you have to say on it. Mm-hmm. Just making that initiative, I think, would have changed some things here in Green Bay. I think the front office just said, we're doing this. A player's a player. They have nothing to say about it. I always equate it to if you were running a business, if you were in charge of a franchise business and the owner that's never really on scene came and started firing your employees without telling you, would you just be like, oh, okay, sounds good? Or would you be like, why are you getting rid of him? He's done a lot of good for us. Mm-hmm. I think some of that went on. And then I think it kind of turmoiled from there. But he's not the first one that they've done that to. I love this organization. I married into a season ticket holding family. We are never getting rid of them. I don't care what happens. I go to almost every home game. I love the Packers. They're in my blood. But with that comes a lot of opinions and feelings. Yeah. And they're certainly not perfect. And no one is, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers for life. Sorry, just had to say that, man. He's my boy.
I agree with that sentiment, man. I'm quite sure it did happen, and it's outside of the norm. Like any franchise quarterback, they're consulting. Like in any sport, you don't think the Bucks are going to Giannis and saying, "Hey, who you think could coach us?"
100%.
Who would you want to coach you?
Yes, that's my point. Like it happens everywhere else, but. Again, there are some organizations that kind of stick to their guns and They've done it to other players. So I wasn't as mad as I was about the whole situation. I understood it and said it's not the first time. And at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah.
The people that think that the NFL is the same, the game is the same as the YMCA kids playing on Saturday morning. No, this is a business first.
Yeah.
And that's the way everything's thought about nowadays. And you have to accept that.
Yeah.
If you think it's just an all honest, fair game and these guys just really love to play, they do, but there's a lot more to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They love being rich too. And so do all the front office people.
Well, yeah. and if the league is generating the amount of money it is, they should get paid.
Absolutely. That's another asinine argument that happens all the time. These professional athletes make too much money. Well, okay, business 101. They make that much money because they make that much money for other people.
And the dedication that the guys that are making that money, do you think they just like play for like an hour or two a day and like just spend their money? In the off season, they do what they want. But in season,
they're still working out.
These guys are working all day long, whether it's their diet, it's practice, it's game day, whatever the case may be. Most people have no idea what that kind of dedication takes because they just don't know. It's ignorance.
It's not in most people. Yeah.
No, absolutely
it's
not.
It's so far away from people's reality of like.
It's not a 9 to 5.
Right. And then spending the rest of the outside time like sitting on the couch or doing something you enjoy. Like,
that doesn't exist with those guys. And they're free when they're in the off season, that they do their thing. Some of them still continue to train in the off season because they're fighting for a spot the next season. So I don't know, when people talk like that about I don't know, drives me nuts.
It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But we live in a knee-jerk society that like it's easy
100%.
to say things that just like go out into the air.
Yeah, let's not learn about the situation and then make a decision on how we feel about it.
Yeah.
All my friends are saying something, I'm going to say that too.
I'm going to say that too, yeah. It makes a lot of sense. They're rich and I'm not. It's like a South Park episode. They're taking our jabs.
Taking our jobs. Oh, but that's funny.
And I mean, just the level of, a prime example is Aaron. He's talked openly about wanting to be a father. And like, I firmly believe that his career and dedication to that is something in the way of that. Like
100%, absolutely.
Like these people are sacrificing their lives. And that's kind of my point that I'm trying to make. Like, yeah, sure. He was here. He made a ton of money. He got rich and did awesome. But like, think about what he gave up to do that. And that was really for Green Bay.
And
for
what
13
he gave
years.
us as fans.
Yeah.
The amount of memories I have with that guy on the field going, how in the world did he do what he just did? I was at that Bears comeback when he got hurt and then came back out.
Oh, yeah, so sick.
That was unbelievable. Now, that was a team effort, but between that and then all of the plays where you just go...
Was that you're talking about the one with the long Cobb touchdown at the end?
To win it.
So sick, dude.
I have never heard Lambeau feel... I swear to God, the stadium shook.
Yeah.
When he caught that ball and everyone in the stadium realized there was no one in front of him, I swear you could feel the place rumbling. It's just like, what do you like? Come on, man. Like those are priceless memories that like you're going to tell your kids about in 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
And without that dude, it wouldn't have happened. So with all the negativity, I don't know. I just look back and it was 13 years of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of heartbreak, but that's because we care.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I love the new era, though. I tell you, I love this new team.
Boy, on the flip side, it seems like everybody pitted the two against each other.
Which they're going to do.
The front office and Aaron Rodgers, everyone's going to do that.
Yes.
I give props to really both sides. Like, we had an awesome time with Aaron. We can give that. I didn't think how everything shook out was going to go as positively as it did. They obviously did. That's why they did it. Props to them, like that takes some gusto to make those decisions too.
Absolutely.
Whether it's how I would have done it or not, one thing, but
Grudy has a pair on him, like, and I give that guy a lot of credit. I was like a lot of people, when people start making changes, especially people in Wisconsin, we don't like change with a lot of things, but when you can recognize the result of the choice that he made as a GM, you start to go, okay, this guy might know what he's doing. And after this last season, I'm like, I'm in. I'm bought in.
Yeah.
This new system where we take young players that we recognize are good, that don't require $50 million over the course of a few years, build them up, and then we'll see what they do with them once we make them look really good. But like, how do you to recognize Jordan Love's talent? And when they drafted him, whether this past year was a fluke or not, I really don't think it was. I think he's going to continue to get better. But to see that, like, who can make that call? Who could go to Utah State and go, that guy could start for the Packers and lead them to beating arguably the best team in the league in the first round of the playoffs and almost make it to the NFC. Like, who would have called that? Mm-hmm. So for them to see that, their scouts, top of the front office, you have to respect that.
Yeah.
Like us as fans, we have to go, those guys do that all day, every single day. And to be able to make that choice, because a lot of guys pick the wrong guys, man.
Oh yeah.
Look how many, the busts in recent years is just crazy. But that three times in a row, we've picked guys that were at smaller schools, but had good numbers, and 2 of them are in the Hall of Fame, and who knows what the next one's going to do. So,
dude, you want to know what's wild about that is Dan and I have a buddy who called the Jordan Love pick before it happened. And it's ridiculous.
Can you validate that? Really?
He did.
How, like during the draft or like before the draft?
Before the weeks before the draft. He said
insane.
The Packers were going to take Jordan Love. And it's funny because like you have to know the guy to understand, but it was ridiculous. And
is he deep in?
He's a huge draft guy. He loves college football.
So he knows the talent and all that kind of stuff.
He puts together his draft board and all of that stuff. But
those
still,
guys are on another level. But still.
Yeah, and it's just hilarious that he's never going to let anyone live it down.
You know what? As you shouldn't.
No, he shouldn't. He earned it.
Especially if this kid goes on a run. I mean, that's like living, like that's like a purpose in life. Hey, I called that.
Yeah.
I mean, like you could get famous around Green Bay doing that.
You could. I know it is ridiculous. And I spent like the years that Jordan Love was on the bench being like a Jordan Love detractor, specifically to him, just because I like wanted him to feel wrong.
He knew.
And
that's insane.
It's unbelievable, but funny. But I completely agree. Like who saw it coming and how it all shook out. Like they definitely like
scouts, man.
Yeah, it's funny because we had Andy, aka Byron Sweeney from, I'm sure you know Shad Rap, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we had him on the show, and he went to college with Gutenkoost. And
where did they go?
Lacrosse.
Really? I didn't know he went to lacrosse.
I didn't know it before Andy told me either. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he kind of sung his praises, saying like, you know, like these people work really, really hard, and like they take it serious and all of that stuff too. And it's just more of that knee-jerk stuff. Like it's an easy scapegoat when everybody had the pitchforks out for Gutenkoost, you know, like, oh, we're gonna.
But those are the guys though that like to sometimes improve something, you gotta tick a few people off in the short term.
Yeah.
But then the smart ones start to see the progress, which at this point, I mean, as a fan, how can you not be at least a little bought in to what they're doing?
Oh man,
here.
The story's magical.
Yeah, it's magical, and just how many, like, we don't have 2 or 3 stars on this team that we know are going to make plays. There were dudes you've never even heard of catching touchdowns over starting Dallas quarterbacks where you're like, that guy has 2 touchdowns. This is like his 9th game ever.